Welcome back to the Perfectly Honest podcast, where we talk about families, relationships, and our testimonies of Jesus Christ. I'm Kiana.
And I'm Michael.
And if I'm being perfectly honest, I'm pregnant! Okay, the end.
Yeah, the end. Thank you guys so much for listening today. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I have had such a busy week. The busiest week ever. So I decided last minute to do school. I think I might have mentioned this last week.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, 14 credits, directing a play, assistant directing another play, teaching life skills at school, and just so many things.
Coaching improv.
Yeah, coaching 2 improv classes.
Yep.
And a service choir and a set building class too.
That is a lot, actually, when you say it like that.
And you know what? It's not the time constraint, but it is. I think it's mostly because I think I have enough time for it. Mm-hmm. My brain doesn't, though.
Yeah.
Like it takes so much brain. Like, okay, now I've got to make the schedule for this and like figure out like what I want out of the play, what I want the audience to feel, all that kind of good stuff.
I feel like you just need to sit in a dark room and visualize and...
Yeah, just visualize. I'm getting there. So, okay, but for the topic of today, the pregnancy.
Yeah! Guys, we are so excited to share the news finally with everyone. Not that we were really keeping it like that big of a secret.
It wasn't really that secret, but it was, we were like, just waiting for a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm 12 and a half weeks along.
Yeah.
Which is like so crazy to me. I feel like it's going a lot faster than my pregnancy with Coleman. And there's like a lot of factors that play into that.
Because like the first time, like you were like counting the days.
Oh, I was like, I'm 7 weeks and 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm 8 weeks and 5 days. Like,
yeah. And you were in a camper too.
Every single day,
in the
every
woods.
hour counted. I look back and it's a miracle that I survived and gave birth to a really healthy baby.
Yeah. She's always been so positive, like about the, just like everything that we've gone through in life, every circumstance. So, I think that's how we've survived.
Positivity
is your positivity.
Oh, that's sweet, because I did not feel like a positive person.
Well, yeah, there is the mood swings, but yeah.
Well, yeah, so I guess like compare and contrast so far, like how I'm feeling now versus
so, let's talk about that.
With Coleman, I was like super duper sick starting at like 7 weeks. I was throwing up every day. Nothing sounded good. Whenever I did have a craving, it was like super hard to satisfy because we lived out of town.
Yeah.
And Michael would take the car to work and I would be at the camper.
So like she could have jumped on a bike and rode like 40 minutes into town.
Oh my gosh. Or I could have come and stayed at your parents' house during the day.
Yeah.
And let them. But it was really hard. We were newly married. It's hard being sick in front of people you're not super close to yet.
Yeah.
And so I was like super hesitant to like be around them and be throwing up and just not be feeling good because I wanted to like be lively and happy and cheerful.
Yeah. And it was really like, because for me, I was like, oh, but my family is so inviting.
I know.
That's true.
It's so
but
true.
Still, it's like I had to kind of like, remember that if you hadn't known them for their very long either way. So like, it was kind of like a thing within you.
Yes. Yeah, it was totally.
Rather than them, like they would have been like, yeah, come here and we'd take care of you for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think it was more of like a privacy thing for me. Like I just wanted to seclude myself. And I think a lot of pregnant women feel that way.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of want to go off into the woods. That's what animals do.
Yeah.
Well, I guess when they're like in labor, they go off and seclude themselves.
Yes, they go out into the woods and build a little nest, and I don't know. That's like how apes give birth or something, right?
In a nest?
Something like that. Yeah, they do like do one in a tree or something. Anyway, so Kiana's doing much better this time.
Yeah,
around.
and I would say like there's 2 things that made the biggest impact on how I'm feeling this pregnancy. Oh, there's 3 things. First, Michael and I were trying this time around. So we were really excited when we found out. I mean, we were excited with Coleman, but it was more unexpected.
Yeah. Well, it was actually really funny because I was like, I think we should start trying. And you're like, I think that I'm already pregnant.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
And so this time around we were trying, and so it was like, oh my gosh, we did it. Yay.
Yeah. It was really so exciting.
Yeah.
To hear this time, and like there was something really satisfying about going through that experience, like just making the decision to try, and so I know not everybody gets that probably, but it was a very awesome experience to have.
Yeah. And then secondly, I prepared myself mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
So going into my first pregnancy, I had just received a lot of messaging that when you're pregnant, you're really sick and it's going to suck the whole time, because that's kind of how it was for my mom. She was really sick her whole pregnancy. And one of my sisters got really sick for her pregnancies, not as sick as my mom. And then Michael's mom has like these insane stories of like almost dying when she was pregnant.
It was like she was like hospitalized.
She was like
times.
on an IV every single week.
Yeah, it was a labor of love to bring me into the world. So I think I was actually not as bad as everyone else. If
you're being perfectly honest.
If I'm being perfectly honest.
You were the angel baby.
I don't hear a lot of stories. I hear a lot of stories about when Anthony was in the belly and when Nick was, and so anyway.
So yeah, I'd received a lot of just like, oh my goodness, like buckle in, it's gonna be awful. And so I think I just took that and said, oh yeah, I'm gonna feel really sick. So when I would feel sick, I'd really like ruminate in it. I'm like, oh man, I'm so sick. I just need to lay down all day.
Yeah.
And that's like what I would do. I would just lay down all day and be sad and sick and not feeling good.
Yeah. So let's talk about that experience. Let's talk about really quick the mental and the physical. Like, so you've made some like diet changes.
Yeah.
And you've changed your mentality. And I mean, our circumstance has changed, and that is a big difference. And circumstances, they don't determine our happiness, but they do have an effect on our attitude sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and our attitude does directly affect our happiness, but it's like we have to realize we're in control of our attitude. Anyway, so there's like things there, and some circumstances are definitely helpful.
Yeah. Well, and so with this time around, I was mentally, I had started seeing a lot of women on the internet saying like, I don't think it's normal for girls to feel so sick when they're pregnant. Like, I don't think God would design pregnancy to be that way. And something like switched in my brain. I was like, oh my gosh, like they're right. Why would our perfect creator make pregnancy like the worst thing in the whole world? That just like didn't make sense to me. And then I realized that it was probably a lack of nutrients and certain like vitamins and minerals that I was lacking in.
Yes.
And like protein that was making me so sick. And so once I made that mental shift, I was like, I'm going to have like a wonderful pregnancy. I'm going to feel good this pregnancy. Like going into it, I was so determined. Like every single day, if I started to feel sick, I was like, no, I can fix this.
Yeah. And
I would.
It's amazing how much control she actually has had.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was possible. I was like, okay, you're going to say that, and then you're going to be just like bawling every night still or something, because it's like, that's just how it goes. You just get emotional with these. But I've been really amazed. There's lots of like really simple remedies. It's not even like about going to the store and getting a bunch of vitamins. It's just like,
no, it's
like mixing the right like drinks together or something, just so that you're like, okay, I'm getting a lot of like magnesium, zinc, iron, like all of the protein, like a bunch of different things that are really helpful, and like vitamins that naturally come in stuff.
Yeah, because I haven't been taking like a lot of supplements.
No,
I take trace mineral drops and magnesium drops.
Yeah,
and sometimes beef liver capsules, but other than that, like I'm not taking a prenatal even.
Yeah. And like you've been able to manage, I think even without those, you probably would have been fine, because like the coconut water, which has a lot of magnesium in it, right?
This is the secret.
Yeah.
When I, like the first moment I felt like nauseous during this pregnancy, I had read just like a shot of coconut water with salt in it would like help. And I was like, that sounds like the last thing I want to put in my body. Like, I don't know how I'm going to drink this without throwing up.
Yeah.
But I made just a small glass of coconut water with salt in it.
And it's like a shot. It's so small.
Chugged it. Immediately, the nausea went away. It was like miraculous.
Yeah.
And so that's been one of the little tricks that I use sometimes, but I haven't really had to use it because I've learned that as a pregnant woman, you need so much more protein, and I just need to constantly be eating because I'm nursing and pregnant. Yeah. And so I need just a lot more calories in general. And one of the big reasons women get so sick when they're get so nauseous, especially when they wake up, first thing, morning sickness, is because they've been fasting all night and their stomach is empty. So if your stomach gets empty, you're going to feel sick when you're pregnant. So you need to make sure your stomach doesn't get empty and you're just snacking all the time.
Yeah. I love that so much. And once again, we're not nutritionists, but
no.
Take this as our anecdotal thing, because I've seen a huge difference in this pregnancy versus the last.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot that is mental with that, but then
yes, absolutely.
I think that the physical changes, I've actually seen them work,
mm-hmm.
Where she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so nauseous, and I'm like, okay, she's gonna run in, try to figure it out, and then she's gonna run to the bathroom and throw up. But then she runs in, takes her shot of the coconut water and salt, and then she walks in, she's like, hey, feeling great. I'm
you're like, well, how did
oh
that
my goodness,
work?
I can't believe that worked. You were so nauseous.
Yeah.
So just take it as anecdotal and look for stuff. Maybe there's some stuff that you guys or you ladies out there have done yourself that maybe you can share with us too.
I would love to hear it. And yeah, I'm not sharing this as I'm a professional, I'm so good at being pregnant. It's just
No.
I'm so thrilled to have found things that are helping with the nausea and help me just feel
I think we're excited.
normal and good.
Yeah, I think we're excited that there's the possibility that you can have some control.
And that I don't have to be
situation.
so sick every single pregnancy.
Yeah.
So that is really exciting. What's also interesting about this pregnancy is we are living with Michael's parents.
Yeah, funny enough.
And we're sharing a kitchen. We see them all the time. So my lack of privacy in the first, I was so worried about privacy in my first pregnancy. And now I'm there's no avoiding seeing everyone.
Right.
So whatever happens, happens, and it's okay.
Yeah, and it's fun to see how understanding everybody is too.
Yeah, everyone's been so sweet.
Yeah, you're just so, I mean, if you're nauseous and throwing up, they're like, oh yeah, she's just throwing up, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Which hasn't happened very much. I think last time up to this point, it was you would expect to throw up every morning and then possibly another time during the day.
Yes, right.
And it's only happened
I've
3 times.
Yeah, and it was because I either ate something bad or I took a vitamin without eating with it.
Right. And that was the other thing. And we didn't really dive into that as much, but there was this desire you had to eat a lot of heavily processed food.
The first pregnancy?
Yeah, the 1st pregnancy. So
oh yeah. And that is because
it's you want calories.
You want calories and you want fat. And a lot of these really heavily processed foods have canola oil or vegetable oil, which is a very quick, cheap way to get fat, but it is not a sustainable way to get fat for your body. It makes you feel sick.
It can be hard on your stomach too. And if you have anything that's hard on your stomach, what is it? The polyunsaturated fats.
Yeah.
That can cause a lot of different things in your body, I think. But it can be really nausea inducing because you're already kind of there with pregnancy. It's you're already ready to be nauseous.
Yes, that's so true.
So it's good to get really fresh food, get different fats. I mean, I personally like the coconut flakes. I don't know if you've been doing.
Oh, I haven't been doing that.
You haven't really been on that.
But I've been doing coconut oil and butter, which is so funny. The other day, Michael's dad was like, we have been zooming through butter since you guys moved here. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, but homegirl needs fat as a pregnant lady.
And butter's good. Butter's good.
Spread the word. Butter is actually good for you.
Yeah, it's actually
unpopular opinion.
Yeah, unpopular opinion. It's actually good. Well, it's actually at the very least, it's better than vegetable oil is.
So true.
That stuff is so bad for you. So processed.
Anyways, so
rant.
We're just really excited and hopeful and can't believe that our family's expanding. Can't believe that Coleman's going to be a big brother.
Yeah.
We have our guesses of the gender. We don't know, but
we do not know yet.
I need to stop hitting the microphone. What is wrong with me? I'm I'm just so excited. I'm like, oh my goodness, Bella.
Yeah.
And I talk with my hands.
Kiana also just started pregnancy martial arts.
Can you imagine a class full of pregnant ladies going like,
yeah. I'm sure there's got to be like pregnancy yoga out there.
Well, duh. Yeah, prenatal yoga, that's a thing.
Yeah, that is a thing, huh? And I know I've seen it online, but I'm like imagining a class and you're like, anyway, I don't want to imagine that anymore.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's basically our experience, what we're going through. I'm very happy with Kiana and what she's going through. It's been making me happy that she's been taking such a healthy approach. And, I think that everybody has their own experience with pregnancy.
Yes. And I don't mean to invalidate anyone else's past or future experiences. Yeah. I just want to share.
So hopefully this is like helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, at least it gets you in a mindset of like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should just like have a positive mindset, and please don't try comparing to us. But we would like to hear your story, your experience,
yes.
whether good or bad, because
Absolutely.
That's helpful and you might be able to help somebody. So, we just want to encourage you to do that. And we actually are on a date right now. So we're going to close our podcast pretty early, but we have a spiritual thought from Kiana. So,
okay. So I was thinking about, motherhood and just what an honor it is that God gives women to be mothers if you are blessed with that opportunity. And I was in the Book of Mormon in Alma 56, and this is where Helaman is writing an epistle to Moroni, I believe, and he's talking about the 2,000 stripling warriors and how impressed he is with them and just like their strength and awe.
Yeah.
And so I'll start in verse 47. And he says, "Now they never had fought, yet they did not fear death, and they did think more upon the liberty of their fathers than they did upon their lives. Yea, they had been taught by their mothers that if they did not doubt, God would deliver them. And they rehearsed unto me the words of their mother, saying, we do not doubt our mothers. We do not doubt our mothers knew it." And I think like as women, we have this beautiful opportunity to not only grow and birth life. Like it's such a beautiful partnership that we have with our divine creators. It's such a special time to be so close to heaven. But then when these sweet spirits are here, we have the most beautiful opportunity and responsibility to be the primary gospel educators in the home. I mean, mothers and fathers do this together, but mothers are typically with their children like all day long. And we get to incorporate gospel principles in everything that we teach our children. And I just love that is the job that I get to have. That's the lot in life I've been given, is to teach the gospel to our children and to teach them about Jesus Christ and to help them have their own relationships with God. And yeah, it just makes me really excited. And
yeah, I love that so much. And you know what? It just makes me think that, parenting is the most important stewardship that we could have while we're here on the earth, because we do not own our children.
No, they are not our own.
They belong to themselves and to God.
Isn't that so crazy?
At best, but it's like it's a stewardship from God to protect His children. And they are our kids, it's like there's some like ownership in saying that. And
like biologically, we feel this instinct to protect them and love them more than we do other kids.
Yes, but it's a great responsibility that brings great blessings, more than any stewardship of land or anything else could be. So I really love that. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate you being here. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and subscribe on YouTube. And be sure to check out our affiliate links. We do need to post that to Instagram, actually, because that would greatly help us. But at the very least, please comment and like and follow us. And we will see you next week.
Bye.